Hey everyone, welcome to the Build From Me podcast. My name is Nehemiah, and I'm joined by my friends.
Ethan?
And Maxwell.
And it has been a while. There's a
Has
couple
been a
of
while.
reasons for that, and I know we're in online.
Yeah, there's a few reasons behind that. We'll touch on that in a second, but let's start off with a quick Build SD update and Builder's Remedy update. So by the time that this is live, every project that's under construction in downtown should be on the Build SD map. That's going to be really important. That's a huge milestone that we will have met. So far, there's only, as of time of recording, only one project under construction that's not on the map right now. And there are very few that are in permitting that are not on the map right now. So there is not much left of downtown. And then we are making great progress at documenting development in the city. The next places that we're looking to write about is specifically Uptown. That would be Bankers Hill, Hillcrest, and Golden Hill, Sherman Heights, Barrio Logan, all these communities surrounding downtown. We're working our way out. It's just what makes sense.
Right. I know my focus, or I've committed to you guys that my focus is going to be Uptown, Hillcrest, Bankers Hill area, but we've just been very busy. I've just been very busy. And I know all of us, we all have our different stuff that we've been working on, which I think segues us into, I guess, a couple of life updates. So how have you guys been? And let's start with Ethan.
Good. I had a super fun road trip this summer, all around California for about a month. So I was gone for a little while. Back in school now, working, really enjoying it. In fact, I go to Cal State San Marcos, and so I will be writing on the North City project, which is a large, genuinely quite large TOD project in San Marcos.
Right. And you made us really jealous with all your photos of Carmel by the sea. Is that the area?
Yeah. I was in Carmel and all up Big Sur, and then a little time in Sequoia and Yosemite. So I really did kind of take a really nice loop, kind of everywhere in California. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, California really is beautiful. In this slideshow, in this slide in particular, it's this is Sunset Cliffs, right? Not La Jolla?
This is Sunset Cliffs. So there you can see the what currently remains of the OB Pier, and yeah, it's really beautiful.
And then moving on, Max, how have you been?
I have been all right. I took a day trip down to Tijuana, met up with some friends down there, and we went around specifically Aguas Calientes, which is a part of like urban Tijuana just south of downtown. And there is tons of construction right now in just Tijuana as a whole. But this one neighborhood is really becoming a downtown of its own. It has buildings the same scale as downtown San Diego now. And there's just all sorts of construction going on in every neighborhood in Tijuana. It's crazy.
That's good. I actually haven't even been to TJ yet. I've seen it, like driving down the 5 and I believe the 705.
905, yeah.
905. It's 905, and you can see the high rises being built.
Yeah.
But
you really don't get a great view until you're on the ground there, and just get to look up at these buildings. We were walking around for a good 2 hours around this whole district here. There's just so much going on. I saw a stat the other day that there's around 45 high-rise construction projects in Tijuana as a whole right now. And I would say probably about half of them are in this area.
Dang.
that's a lot. Alrighty. And both of you have gone on trips the past month, I guess, or the past few months.
Yeah.
And it's making me a little bit jealous.
Yeah, you've been busy working.
I know. I need to go on a trip on my myself, but I am planning a trip not around California, but in New York soon.
Yeah, that's gonna be really fun.
New
Right.
York is so pretty.
And with the congestion pricing happening, probably a little bit more. The air is a little bit cleaner.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
you're gonna have to tell us
Hopefully.
if you notice a difference.
you're right because I've been there.
Oh, have you not been to
Or
New York?
I
Have
have
you?
I've been there. I've
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
I've been there before it was implemented, and then
Yeah.
I'm going to be there after, obviously. But that's not my life update. My life update, I guess, what I've written down in our notes is that's enough of
I
us.
just
Finished up on the
One
the
last
abundance book.
update. So
Pretty
I
much
spoke at
it.
the Bike
I used to
SC
be a very
cross-pollination event.
big reader back
That
growing
was
up,
a big
and
event where basically
it
a whole
has
bunch
been a
of
while since I've
organizations
read
gave
like
gave
a
a
book fully,
presentation about
and
projects
it's
they're
a really
working
good
on
book. I
or
think
things that they want to
Ethan,
talk
you
about,
have
want
it.
more people to know.
Yeah,
So
in
I
fact, on that
talked
road trip, I
about
got about halfway through it.
some
I
TOD
need
projects that
to
are going
finish
on
it up,
around the
but I was
city,
really
and there's
enjoying it.
truly a lot going on in planning right now. So just letting more people know about this stuff is always great. Always great meeting up with new people and chatting, talking, and making connections. That's what the event's for. It's great.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh, that reminds me, and I apologize to Samuel. But one of an org update, I guess, for Build SD is Samuel, who's a part of Build SD, has been hard at work doing San Diego Transit Month.
Yeah, so San Diego Transit Month, it's following a tradition that has been a thing in the Bay Area for I believe 4 years, where every year in September they do an annual Transit Month. So what that means is it's really a celebration of public transit in the city, and we have decided to help out with San Diego Transit Month. This is the first year of it, and there's all sorts of events going on. Really recommend that you check that out. That link is sdtransitmonth.org. We can have that in the description or what have you, but there's a lot of really fun events. There's already has been quite a few, and that's a tongue twister. There's been quite a few, and they've been a lot of fun meeting up with everybody, chatting, and we specifically did one where you design what the future of transit you're looking forward to in San Diego could be. So drawing lines on maps and thinking.
Let's move on to what we're actually going to be talking about in this podcast, which is a bunch of development updates. This video is all about updates, updates, updates. I guess there's going to be a bunch, but the main three is the groundbreaking at Riverwalk, the groundbreaking at SDSU West, that's San Diego State University, and 101 Ash Street, the affordable housing in that tower, that infamous tower in San Diego. If you, for everyone who lives in San Diego, they know all about this building. So, the groundbreaking at Riverwalk.
So this project is called The Beaker by Wakeland Housing. It's an affordable housing project, 190 units. And this will be the first project in the Riverwalk development, which is a very large planned development in Mission Valley on land that is formerly a golf course. And the project has installed due to current financial conditions, but it's come back and now it's starting off with this great project.
Yeah, I think it was one of the only projects that was fully funded, if I'm not mistaken, before interest rates or something like that.
So Riverwalk is an interesting development in that the land has been owned by this family for years and years and years. I believe dating back to at least the 1950s. It all used to be farmland there, and I believe they owned it back then. And they decided to partner with this developer. I can't think of the name of the main site developer right now, but they are partnering with them, and they made their affordable housing portion go to a separate company who specializes in affordable housing. That's Wakeland, and it really what they are waiting for is better financial conditions because since they already own the land, there's no real loans that they need to hold up.
No. And it's kind of funny. You can see it on satellite, on Google Earth or Google Maps. Um, just the roads have already been laid out, and it's
Mhm.
just the blocks, which is very funny.
Mhm.
We can talk about like Riverwalk, the full development in a different podcast because I was able to find the site plans, the site plans for the project that include, the bike infrastructure, the trolley station, everything, and how it's all disconnected, the bike lanes, I mean. But we can talk about that in a different video, I think,
Mhm.
if people are interested in it. We can move on to the second update, which is the groundbreaking at SDSU West.
This is going to be 621 units of market rate housing. So it's not going to have as much affordable housing in this portion, but this really is huge for the students in SDSU. The college area has really been struggling for housing for a while now. And this is the first part of a pretty massive project, 4,600 total units. Um, right next to the trolley station, SDSU's done a great job of building all along the Green Line. So this will be really convenient for students in the future. There's supposed to be some different like retail options there as well. So this won't just be for students, right? This really will be a great entertainment venue type place for fans before they go to the game. So super exciting. This really is this and the Riverwalk project both finally starting is pretty huge.
It'll be one of the nicer walkable areas in Mission Valley.
Mhm. Yeah, this is a massive plan development, and like a lot of the stuff included, it really promotes walkability, bikeability, is creating something that feels like a village. It feels like a neighborhood, while still being like it'll host a college campus. It'll host like a small tech district, like a tech office style district. There's, I believe, one hotel planned. There's obviously the stadium already, and there's all of this housing that is badly needed in the area, and all of it has ground floor retail, which is very important, being in such a what's going to be such a busy location. Like before the games in downtown, people walk around downtown to sort of tailgate, because you don't tailgate downtown. You go to a bar, you go to a restaurant, you get food, you get drinks, and then you go to the game. You can't do that in Mission Valley right now. And this will really create that kind of atmosphere where you can go to the bar, you can go get some food before you go to a game at Snapdragon Stadium.
Yeah. And this is really going to, I think, help tie the area together, right? Because we've seen projects slowly pop up in Mission Valley for a while now. But in certain areas of Mission Valley, it does kind of feel a little empty. But, as the city becomes denser and these lots are used, it's like, what are the best uses where we can still enable people to have that quality time together and build community and have great food while, using the land a little bit better, and this is kind of a good step forward in that.
If too bad, I already have plans.
Oh, sure.
Sure. All the plans are me sleeping in.
That's valid.
Alrighty. Moving on to some city land developments. First of which is the 101 Ash Street. 101 Ash Street is or was the Sempra office building, office tower. Sempra owns SDG&E. The city of San Diego bought this or rented it and then bought it.
It was a rent-to-own scheme that went badly.
Right. Yes, because they moved everyone in, and then they had to move everyone out a month or not even. Was it a month?
It was probably even shorter than that. It was a
Right.
it was a real interesting situation. They were allegedly, per the lawsuit, they were doing asbestos remediation while they had employees working in the office building.
Yeah, like what? That's not great. Yeah, they found asbestos and all that. But
Mhm.
the new plan, or the city of San Diego is now planning to repurpose the tower to 247 affordable units at a 60-year lease to a private affordable housing developer with a ground floor childcare as well, which is, good. We need more childcare.
Especially downtown, there's
Right,
big lack of it. Yeah.
right. Yeah. God, we need more affordable childcare. But you know, if I am going to put my personal opinions on this project, I am in favor of just raising this building and building something new. But I know, Max, you like the
Uh-huh.
architecture.
I like the
Um,
architecture. I really do love this building. But besides that, I know that the financial situation made sense where it would either cost the same to demolish it or the same to make it livable. And they decided
right.
to provide affordable housing here instead of spending millions and millions and millions of dollars constructing a new building, which
Yeah,
I
because
think is I think is the correct choice.
the developer takes on the cost, if I understand this correctly. So this, in the long run, just saves the city money because otherwise we're either paying for it, which is not cheap, and we can't even use
Right.
it.
Alrighty. A couple of blocks away is the city operations building. God, I can't speak. But and there's a reason for that. It's like 8:30 at night. But the city operations building has been declared surplus land and it has been put out to bid, which is good. I work in architecture. Um, this building sucks ass. If you've been inside this building, it is apparent the decades of deferred maintenance that has not occurred. But but um, now that it's declared surplus land and it's now out for bid, any new development that's happening in this new build in the new development um, has to have 25% minimum affordable units. 25%, not 25 total units, but 25%, which is a
Mhm.
big chunk. That's a quarter
Yeah.
of the total units that is going to be there.
So I know as well, part of the decision to make this to declare this surplus was a little bit political. The city council wasn't happy that the mayor put aside plans to redevelop the civic center, and some city council members happen to be on the board that declared this land surplus. So who knows about that choice? But um, it is definitely the right choice. The offices there are currently vacant. The fire station on the ground floor is not. That'll be a big hurdle for a development here to accommodate a new fire station downtown.
Right. They'll
As
have to
they're
close
just
it down and build a new one.
yeah, or
Yeah.
they'll have to get creative here.
Right.
But it it is good in my opinion that they did decide to do this. Their argument was that the mayor was against the development of the civic core as it would look bad in a time that we're having financial issues as a city.
Mm-hmm.
But the group of city council members who made this choice said, "Hey, it just makes financial sense to let go of this building."
If you go back to that honestly doesn't make sense. Wouldn't private developers? Well,
It's
they
not a decision made in reality, it's a decision made in perception of voters.
Yeah.
well, yeah, that's true.
And it,
Um,
it does cost the city some amount of money because they'd be working
Mhm.
with a private developer, and we are literally broke right now.
Yeah.
right. One thing I envy with other with respect to other California cities is that we do not have a good city hall. You go
Mhm.
to Los Angeles and they got a city hall that's nice.
I
And
mean,
you go to
the county building used to be our city hall, so
yeah,
they got to keep it. They got to keep the nice Art Deco building.
It really is a
right.
shame we're having such budget issues right now because if the city wasn't broke, this would be the perfect time to pick something up. Everything's dirt
Yeah.
cheap
Mhm.
right now.
Yeah.
Because there are a ton of vacant developments in downtown, like the Rad District and Horton Plaza.
Yeah.
The Rad District has signed some tenants. They just haven't signed, I guess, other than one, they really haven't signed much of the life sciences and
Right.
defense that they were really hoping for. But they are getting,
Their
what is it, a
ground floor
Rivian
retail is
dealership and
yeah,
Equinox Gym.
their ground floor retail is nearly fully booked, which is great. That is a
Yeah.
great sign for the development as a whole because once that's full and once more life science contracts come in, which is inevitable, they've gotten one or two more that are interested from what I've seen.
Right. Well, San
Horton
Diego
campus
is
would be the real pickup for the city, but
it wasn't
Yeah.
it was it the city interested in buying or purchasing
mhm,
the office portion of Horton Plaza, but because the sales tax failed,
mhm,
um, they had to shelf that idea, which is
mhm.
really unfortunate. You know,
Yeah, the city just doesn't have money to make making major purchases at this time, even signing major new leases at this time. So it's really unfortunate, but despite everything, I think it will work out for the city. Um, they they're they're making a lot of tough choices right now, but they seem to be at least working in theory. The question is, will they work in the reality of a year or two?
Yeah.
right? Oh well, let's move on
And
to
then
the
yes,
third
the
one, which is
city
the old
library.
city. Right.
So
Um,
after a previously failed bid to develop the property, a court has forced it to go back onto the Surplus Land Act to be declared surplus again. There was a previous bid that they were doing with, I believe, Bosa Development,
Mm-hmm.
that unfortunately the city and Bosa could not come to an agreement where they were both happy, and a court forced it to go back to be a public bid. Um, it follows the same rules as the aforementioned projects of 25% minimum affordable, deadline of 90 days from September 2nd there to start that process. So we'll see what comes of this. I am pretty hopeful. It is in a part of East Village that is getting a decent amount of construction in the past few years. Not much going on right now, but I feel
Yeah.
the moment that interest rates or any other market condition changes, it may get construction again.
I do wonder if there is going to be a little bit of overlap and competition because we're declaring two things kind of close to each other as surplus land. Because there's only so many developers that are interested in this sort of thing and can
Yeah.
handle the 25% affordable requirement. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
and you also have to think about, or these developers also have to think about, is it really financially feasible to develop downtown, or
Mhm.
they can just develop anywhere else, like Hillcrest, Bankers Hill.
We're
Um,
Mhm.
getting a lot of
yeah.
stuff in Little Italy right now, right? But in East Village, it's pretty slow right now. It's about
Mhm.
Yeah,
to speed up. There's some projects in the pipeline, but this past year, there's kind of been a lull in East Village for sure.
right. There was going to be that nice tower or development in East Village, the Idea District, but
Mhm.
COVID killed it, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
But the new park that's being built right now in East Village is going to be awesome, I believe.
I'm looking forward to East Village Green. Although, unfortunately, some stuff did get cut, which really is just a shame. But overall, the
Mhm.
project does look like it's still going to be really cool. And the area really needs it. We used to live over there, me and Max. And Balboa Park is technically close, but once you're crossing a freeway and walking all the
Mhm.
way where the park actually starts, like it's pretty far.
And San Diego City College isn't exactly the most convenient park to use. It's,
Yeah.
Also,
even
you
though
just need a
legally it's a
park.
park, even though it's legally a park, there isn't exactly much spaces to sit around and like just relax there.
You know, yeah, Balboa Park is close, but you also just need a regional, like not a regional park, but a neighborhood park just to hang
Mhm.
around.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
got coffee down the street, and you just want to sit down under some shade. A place
This
to hang out.
area really is just waiting for this. A
Right.
lot of it's kind of built up. There's some really cool cafes and restaurants around there. You've also bakery just down the block. You have Isola nearby at Fault Line Park. You
Mhm.
you have a lot of really good food. Some of the like coolest architecture wise of the sorter stuff in East Village is all around where East Village Green is going to be. Once the
Mm.
park's done, it really will kind of complete that central area in East Village and
Mhm.
make it feel a lot more like done. You know what I mean?
And
Right.
a lot of the projects that were planned before COVID, they were all around East Village Green as well. And I
Mhm.
think East Village Green completing will be a signal that
Yeah,
stuff's moving in the right direction and might restart.
yeah.
I
Fingers
think it will
crossed.
come back. I think all the development is going to come back sooner or later.
Mhm.
Because San Diego is the second largest city in California, and and the housing crisis.
Not going away
By
anytime
city,
soon.
by city, by city border population, yes.
Right.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
cool one. That's the
The
one we
only
care
one that
about.
matters, yes.
Oh,
Bay
alrighty.
Area is
Let's
fake.
alrighty. Um, let's move on to this third part, or I guess the fourth part, which is the Midway Rising Economic Report that was released a couple of weeks ago, I believe. Now, as of recording,
Mhm.
um, I don't think it's part of our notes, but that's fine. But Midway Rising is going to be a project. Let's see here. Right. Let's go. Let's just talk about this. The Midway Rising project is going to be a project in right now where the Pachanga Arena is at. It's going to replace the arena with a new arena and build housing. I believe was it 4,000 new houses?
4,250, if I remember correctly. And of those, 2,000 units will be deed restricted affordable.
That's really awesome. All right.
Yeah.
So the San Diego Regional Economic Development Corporation, that is a mouthful, let's just say the EDC, released an economic analysis that mentioned that the total cost of this project is going to be 3.9 billion, and it will generate 285 million in annual economic impact. And to put that in perspective, Eduardo Velasquez, um, he's a pretty top guy up at the EDC. He mentioned that it is going to bring in what Comic Con brings in every single year.
Wow.
So it's essentially just having two Comic Cons every single year. um, and that's a really big thing. And the 285 million, that doesn't that doesn't include the economic impact from construction, the
Mhm.
materials, the jobs that creates, and so development not only builds houses or housing, and not only builds things, but also it um, supports construction jobs. It supports material industries, architectural firms, engineering firms, and so that's those are things that sometimes people who are against development don't think about. Unfortunately, that because like my job, I'm in architecture. Max, you're in accounting for
I work property
property
management
management,
company. Yeah.
right? And so it does affect your job as well, a little bit. But oh, and here some
Nice the
more
Google
numbers.
Meet code in there.
I have no idea.
Alrighty.
I think that's going to be dead. But let's talk about more numbers. So that's $1.4 million in tax revenue for the city and 3.9 million for the county in tax revenue. I'm not entirely sure what the difference between that is.
Well, there's sales tax, right?
Right. Okay. So if with that being said, this is probably sales tax. This is property tax. Oh well. But the new development is going to create 1,100 new jobs and 3,100 permanent jobs paying 12% higher than average. So this 3,100 are existing, but with the new development that is going to happen, the 3,100 are going to get pay raises, if that makes, if what I'm saying makes sense.
So my assumption is that those new permanent jobs, is the permanent job that would be because of the construction, as well as when a new arena is open, when all this retail, all this housing, that would create a lot more jobs. And part of the reason why the higher average wages is a thing is if land is owned by the city and there's a business operating on it, they have to pay, I believe the term is prevailing wage.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And this really is the kind of area that needs this sort of economic development. It's kind of mind-blowing, frankly, that Midway is in the state it currently is. It's a coastal area right next to Point Loma and Old Town, and
you can
if
see
you've
it in
been
this.
around it, yeah, it's struggling.
You got to preserve the neighborhood character.
Yeah. Until recently, until the people of San Diego voted for this twice, because the first one got sued. It had a 30-foot height limit, so you couldn't build any new stuff here. It was very difficult to build new housing. Even a new sports facility would have to be exempted from that 30-foot height limit, and it would not be. So everything in this neighborhood truly stayed in amber since the 1970s. And what it was in the 1970s and what it is now is largely the same, and it's largely been not great.
Right.
Yeah.
And let's say it together, cities aren't supposed to be in amber.
Yeah. Right.
Or whatever. Cities are cities are ever
Whatever the
changing.
quote is.
Whatever the quote is. I bad in English sometimes.
No worries.
But in terms of new housing units, so the new Midway Rising is going to produce 4,250 new housing units, half of which is going to be, as you mentioned, Max, affordable, which is really awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, and I was mentioning about the construction activity is going to generate, all that money from manufacturing. It's right here.
Nearly 22,000 construction jobs.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. That is a lot of work.
Yeah.
To put it into perspective, California High-Speed Rail, which is a pretty large project, I believe total they hired around 20,000 people total. Like a lot of these people no longer work with them.
Yeah.
Right. All right, let's move on. Oh, and here is some site plan of it from the CEQA, from the CEQA report. So the new sports arena will host an estimated 143 events a year, attracting 1.1, million people. That increase in events and attendance is projected to double the visitor spending from 160 million to 344 million annually, which is really cool.
Yeah. And this project, Midway Rising, one of the key aspects of it is how walkable the interior of the project is planned to be. Um, we some of these projects in like Mission Valley, for example, are great on housing, but sometimes they don't have the best walkability. Whereas Midway Rising really has, from the get-go, been envisioned as a walkable community from the ground up.
Right.
Super
Yeah,
cool.
there's so many green spaces. Like there's two fairly large ones on this. They're labeled A and B. Like these are large plazas, parks, and every single street is going to be tree lined and pedestrian oriented. And then there still are some streets that allow car traffic, as there will be parking garages in a good amount of these buildings. But like they're Texas donut style, because
No,
Yeah.
where's
there
the
has to be
parking?
there has to be parking to accommodate all the visitors here, as well as, we're in San Diego. There's still a decent amount of people who want to drive here. But even so, they've really focused on integrating all this development together, making it reasonable to cross all these streets. These streets are only 2 or 3 lane wide at most.
Mhm.
Right.
It's not like the neighboring streets to the south of it, like Sports Arena Boulevard. Like Sports Arena Boulevard, properly unwalkable. But this development, part of it is to narrow Sports Arena Boulevard and add a green frontage to it. Like
Right.
this is truly going to help people get around this area.
Yeah.
And it is going to be actually, and the people who are going to be living here are going to be able to walk to a Target. There is literally a Target down here, and a Petco if you have pets, and some more, stores
Yeah,
and
it's a
takeout.
super central neighborhood. It really
Right.
is a shame that right now it's just this massive parking lot that's kind of dilapidated. Because it really is the perfect place for something like this to be. Super close to
Mhm.
job centers, super close to the entertainment. Um, you really couldn't ask for a better location, especially
Right.
considering, it's currently a giant parking lot and strip clubs and stuff. Like,
Yeah. A lot of upstanding businesses in this area. But funny enough that you mentioned the Target lot, that is also owned by a developer. So maybe at some point.
At some point, I don't know. There's going to be a 5/1 with a Target underneath.
that'd be kind of
And
sick.
I have
That'd be
heard
nice.
of a recent tower that was built. If you guys can hear that, that's my
Oh.
cat just meowing. But I have heard recently that there was a tower built with a Target that was supposed to be their key tenant, but that didn't pan out.
Are you talking about the one in East Village?
The Radian.
Ye- Yes, you
Yes.
guys were
Yeah.
very, you
It's
guys were
really
very.
funny that on the developer's website, they still have the renders of it with a Target.
Well, Target still holds the lease. They're subleasing it
Mm.
right now. I actually don't know if someone's in there right now, but when they said they weren't going to do the Target, they said we aren't, selling the lease or pulling out or anything. They're subleasing to, or at least
That's
that's the plan. So they long term probably still will be in downtown, maybe, but that kind of
Mhm.
remains to be seen.
they.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just need to open that. Like, why not? You know?
So I'm not I don't think we're the best people to talk about this, but Target has not been in the best shape financially recently. And that's why they were the era when they were claiming that they're leaving cities because of crime and stuff like this. It was really because they were not making much money and they wanted to get rid of their highest rent stores, and those happen to be in downtown suburban areas. So they like used this all as an excuse, and then about a year later they said, oh, here's the actual reason why we're losing money because of the rent.
No, be that as it may, it's kind of a shame.
It's really tragic that Target has to pay high rents. it's a shame. Like anybody can
Yeah,
understand their
like
predicament
it's a
here.
shame, people pay rent, every single month,
Mhm. Yeah.
But let's move on. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Oh,
Oh
so
yeah,
this
the
is
Voice of
super
San Diego
cool.
project.
This is for us really kind of a Christmas present. It was so fun to work around with. For those of you who are interested in knowing like where stuff really is getting built, like on a volume level, KPBS and VOSD or Voice of San Diego did a project together where they did a bunch of reporting about where development is happening, but in addition to that, they built this fantastic interactive map that allows you to get pretty granular with the year range, so whether it's ADUs, single family homes. You should totally check it out if you get the chance. There's just some really interesting insights to be gleaned from it.
Mm-hmm. I
right.
think the most striking thing to most people is how much housing is being built in urban San Diego, that being downtown, uptown, North Park, as well as in Otay Ranch.
Well, Altai Ranch is um, Millennia, a bunch of other single family villages being built
Mhm.
there. And once that's done, they're going to be forced to build elsewhere. But
Mhm.
this is a very good map to show, that
Yeah.
the places that complain about development the most or the loudest, they're not getting all the development. It
Yeah.
is downtown. It is Hillcrest, Bankers Hill, North Park,
Mhm.
couple in National City, like right
Mhm.
here, Otay
Yeah.
Ranch, La Mesa, downtown La Mesa,
San
um,
Marcos.
Yeah, the
right,
North
Hamilton's
City
right there,
development, you can see that.
Yeah, that's by far the highest spike in North County.
right? University City, or is that
Mhm.
Sorrento Valley?
Talking about that, actually, there is something that happened today as of recording. There is a bill making its way through the California legislature that just got approved by the Assembly. So now it's going to go to the Senate one last time, called SB 79, that
Right.
includes upzoning around certain types of transit. And the trolley and the sprinter are qualified under that. If you look along
Mhm.
some of these Green Line stations, although the Green Line honestly is probably the best at this. If you look at
Mhm.
Orange Line, the Sprinter, there are so many of these stations that we have where there's basically nothing next to them. And
Mhm.
that's because these communities are really good at keeping development away. And that it looks like that's going to change. They got so the SB 79 got what's the word?
It got
Not,
support from the unions. It got support from the state Democratic Party.
yeah,
Both of these endorsements have been huge.
yeah, and now it just needs to make its way through the state senate, and then it'll land on Gavin Newsom's desk.
Right.
The
And it
state
Um,
just
senate
makes
that has
sense.
previously the state senate that has previously voted for it yes twice now. So
yep,
Right.
exactly.
It
And
just
that
makes sense. Yeah, because
yeah,
these transit projects, we've invested a ton of money, a ton of taxpayer money. We need to be getting a ton of return from it, and that return
yeah,
is more housing, more people using the transit systems, and
mhm.
more businesses that are transit accessible.
Yeah, to get the economic development that we want to build these projects for, because at the core of it, we want to get people around the city, and we want to get the economic development that to support a further tax base to make this project make sense.
yeah. And like a great example really is some of these stations on the Midcoast Trolley Blue Line
Mhm.
that we just spent a bunch of money building these stations, and they're one of them is one of the three lowest ridership stations in the system right now.
Yep,
Balboa
that would be
Ave,
Claremont Drive. Yeah,
Vermont. Yeah,
yep, Claremont Drive.
it's bad. It's genuinely, if you don't see a problem with spending hundreds of millions of dollars on these things and then nobody using them because we don't allow people to live near them. I don't know what to say. This is
And
really
I will
exciting.
say, interestingly, San Diego is one of the least bad places at this in the state.
Yeah.
If we are having issues with it, think about places like San Jose. Think about places in the Bay Area. Think about LA, like West Side LA, where it's all independent cities. They are
Mhm.
having huge issues producing housing up there.
Yeah. We went and checked out the new LAX station. Super cool. We were able to ride the C line and the K line. You'll get a really good feel for the area. And one of the things that really stood out to us was, oh my gosh, there's nothing around these stations, and some of these stations are really old now, and there's no housing around them, and these areas
some of
aren't
the
cheap.
stations on the K line, the K line was supposed to open in like 2015, and there's still next to no development around them.
Yeah, and it looks like we're going to see some big changes. We're going to talk about this a lot more because this really is, in a lot of ways, possibly the biggest deal. If you are someone who wants to see a future California where people live and take public transit and are walkable and live in walkable places, there really, I don't think, has been a piece of legislation more important than, well, I guess we'll see, right? But if SB 79 passes, we're really excited.
That's a big if.
Right.
We'll see. It looks like it's going to, right? Like it made it through the state assembly.
I am
the
very
state
hopeful, but I don't want to jinx it. And until it gets off of the governor's desk signed, I don't trust anything.
Yeah.
Our goal, Build SD's goal, is to advocate for a completely livable San Diego. Not only San Diego at the very least, but California. So, this is going to be a very big part of it. We also have big plans that we've always talked about ourselves.
Yeah,
Which we
we
want.
want to play a role in making California a better and more livable state, in any way we
Right.
can.
We're gonna
And
have.
for you as an architect, you have such a unique ability, at least between the three of us, to contribute to, what the future looks like.
Clarification: I am not licensed yet.
Not yet.
I very much.
Soon.
I need to, say that as a disclaimer because,
Yeah.
but
As someone who is basically an architect,
I am not going to say that yet. We may want kids in our personal lives, we may not, but for people who are going to have children, we want to be able to leave California a better place than how we came across it.
Mhm.
You guys basically lived here all your lives. I have not. I am an immigrant who have moved into San Diego, basically 10 years ago.
Yeah, you've been here a long
And-
time.
yeah, you've been
Yeah,
here
I
a
have
long-
been.
Yeah.
And in that decade, I have grown to love San Diego as if it was my, the city I grew up in. But, this is probably going to be the area my kids are going to be living in. And so by the time they're going to be, older to appreciate stuff,
I think the phrase is plant trees that you'll never see.
right.
The shade of, yeah. Like
That's literally what I'm trying to say. But I think that is all the time we have today. I do think that the next video we are going to be talking about maybe SB 79, maybe not, but regardless,
the next video will be a little bit more in depth into some of these projects as well. This was just a quick, hey, here's what's happening. There's a lot of stuff going on. We need to cover it. But there are a lot more things that we want to cover more in depth. We just want to make sure that everyone has a good idea. One thing that we didn't mention that we probably should have, Horton Campus. Horton Campus, the bank owns it now.
Yeah, no one bid on it.
Nobody bid on it.
The minimum bid was $130 million, which for Horton Campus really isn't that much. That's 9 blocks of downtown, even
What
just
are
the
you talking
land.
about? What are you talking about? We have $130 billion in the bank right now.
Oh,
So
so true.
Uh-huh. Oh, the at the going market price for like class A office space downtown, one building sold recently for like I think it was like 40
And that was a
billion
bad
dollars.
price. 40
Yeah,
million.
40
Yeah.
million. And that was a bad price, and that's for something very similar with more square footage than Horton campus. That's an entire block of downtown versus 9 blocks.
right.
There, the starting bid was higher than the going rate of office space. So,
Yeah. Oh well. Well, regardless. If you guys want to join us in our conversation about development happening around, in and around San Diego or San Diego County, or even elsewhere in the state, we have our Discord down below. Um, we also have the link to the Build ST website. And thank you guys so much for watching.